Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, today I didn't come on a motorcycle because I had to get a few things in my car. But yes, these are my formals, at least half of them. And this is what I normally wear every day when I'm going to work. So talking about work, what do I actually do? Do I just ride motorcycles? Do I just take pictures? People ask me, they can't seem to understand what I actually do. So I'll try to explain briefly what is my job. The slide behind me summarizes what I've been doing since the last 7 years. I've done 22 countries and 300,000 plus kilometers on some of the world's best superbikes. And I've been riding some of the world's best roads and taking pictures, videos, and sharing with a large audience in a bid to inspire change. So essentially why we are here today is to understand what inspires change and what kind of change do we inspire in people. Change is the only constant, as we know, in our lives. Every moment, something is changing. Time is changing. But the thing is, what kind of change do we want? Positive, negative? It should be a good influence or a bad influence. So I'll try to explain the story of my life, how I changed in the past 12 years to what I am today, and how I am inspiring other people to change their lives, to live life to the fullest, to do what they actually want, and not to be stuck in a grind. So a lot of people ask me, especially youngsters, how the hell did I get such a job? Does this job even exist? They say, where can I send my resume? So what can I do to become like you? I say that 12 years ago, I was just like you, and when I went out of college, or actually I dropped out of college. I dropped out of college in my first year. I somehow realized that this is not what I want to do. I don't want to spend my time, with all due respect here to all the students. Education is very important, but I just somehow couldn't see myself studying in a class, listening to lectures. So in 2000, I left my college and I started doing hands-on work. So I'll take you back 12 years back from 2001 and try to explain how I changed as a person and what I'm at today, how things have added up. In 2001, I started out as a graphic designer after I left my college, or rather dropped out of it. And this is one of the first things that I made in Photoshop. Back then, I wasn't into motorcycling, but as you can see, this is a helmet. So I now know why I had to go into motorcycling. This was done like 12 years ago. I'll show a few of my other works as well. Again, this is a motorcycle. Back then, I was not into motorcycling, but still I was only making two-wheelers in motorcycles. And yes, I don't have affinity towards cars. I don't use them, no matter it's raining. I just can't see myself sitting in a car. Sometimes people term cars as cages. For us motorcyclists, it's quite true. My next avatar was webmaster. I started learning graphic designing and web designing, and I wanted to practice real time in life. So I decided to make a page on my own motorcycle, my first motorcycle, back in 2002. I started what is called xBhp.com, which means extra braking horsepower. And it started out as a single page website in 2002. In 2 years, it grew to be India's largest motorcycling portal with more than 5,000 members. I'm talking about 2003, where the internet penetration in India was very less. And what happened is that I was alone. I was a single man team. I used to work out of my room in my house, so I had to know everything. I had to know graphic designing, I had to know coding, I had to know everything which requires to make a world-class website. And that is what I did. So I became a webmaster. That was my second avatar. Going on, as people's expectations grew out of the website, because that was the only website in India which was catering towards lifestyle motorcycling, I had to learn more stuff. So I started doing logo designing and merchandise, and you name it, I was doing it, sitting from my home. In 2004, xBhp grew even further. We started getting noticed in media. We started doing events. And slowly, we grew up to 10,000 members and 15,000, 20,000. In 2005, I realized that I cannot sustain xBhp because I was leaving jobs because I was focusing more on xBhp, my passion, rather than working at my job. My managers, although they liked me, but they say that you're doing a job and you have to do it like a job. You cannot bring your own personal work at the office. So I said, okay, fine. So I left around 5 jobs. And I decided that let me try and earn money out of this, because I was just doing it out of passion till now. So in 2005, I approached various companies. I floated a public, this thing, tender kind of thing on my website. I said that I need money to run the website, and Castrol came into the picture. They supported me. They gave me money to run the website. So I no longer needed to do a job. But yes, it wasn't well paying at that point of time, xBhp, but at least I could focus 24/7 on it. So I became a marketeer. So that was my next avatar. Going forward, in 2006, I actually started doing real motorcycling, and I conceived what is called the Great Indian Road Trip, in which I decided to take the world's best bikes and go around India. I didn't want to do it on normal bikes. I wanted to do something trend-setting which cannot be replicated. So what I did is I took a garb of an event manager, an event concept and management. I took that next avatar with this. So we did 18,000 kilometers in 108 days around India, and this is something which has not been replicated even now after 7 years. My next avatar, which is I think the most important, is that of a what you term as a superbiker, which I think there is no such term, because people who own a superbike, which is a very expensive, powerful bike, they automatically get a term as a superbiker, but it's not true. A superbiker is someone who actually uses the bike to do things, to enrich his life. It's not just you own the bike and you just keep it, parked in your garage and just take it on Sundays. But so that is what I did. I was the first person, I think, to go around India on a superbike. I did 13,000 kilometers. And the bike that you see is a 1,000cc bike. It was a life-changing experience for me. Next thing was, I thought that after the India trip, after I owned a superbike, everything was over for me. Like, I had everything in life. But in 2007, I said, no, I have to do more. And I thought, what could be the next thing? I went to Australia, I looked for sponsors, and I found sponsors, and I did Australia as well. 22,000 kilometers on this motorcycle with another guy, another Indian. And that is the next avatar, which came into being the global Indian motorcyclist. I couldn't think of any other term, but this is what I started becoming. Since 2007, I found another love, which is photography, which again changed my life a lot, big time. I didn't know that I was going to be a photographer, but being a photographer requires a certain creative bent, which I already had because I was a graphic designer. So it was a logical choice, and photography was a necessity because I had to capture my rides and I had to share it to the world, and there was no other way to do it than to take nice pictures. So that was my next avatar as a photographer. Then a lot of road trips came into materialized. I did New Zealand in 2008, and but something else also happened in 2008. Somebody hacked into xBhp, or the hard disk crashed or something happened. My server was in US. I lost everything. Like, I lost 50,000 members, and I lost like 6 years of work, 7 years of work. It was zero. Like, I only had the name. I only had xbhp.com, the domain name. And if you understand, like, this was the yahoo.com, this was a rediff.com for motorcycling in India. It was a very big thing. My mistake was that I was handling everything alone. So, like, men make mistakes, human make mistakes. So, but this mistake was like, I couldn't get out of it. And the only thing which I could do is, I could restart from scratch. Like, the members on my forum was 1. I was the first member again in 2008. But since I had the name, a lot of people came back. Today, we have around 55,000 members again. But a lot of people left faith and confidence, saying that, what if we come back, we, put our precious time in it, and you again lose everything. But again, I have taken measures. But the biggest thing which I learned from this is that you have to believe that whatever happens, you just have to keep continuing, and things will fall in place. So here I am, like 5 years down the line, and I've done so many other things which I could have never imagined at that point of time when I lost everything. Going forward, in 2008, I coined another term which was called Motographer, which means basically a person who rides motorcycles and is a photographer. So that's a Motographer. And since then, if you search for Motographer on Google, a lot of people are using it as a common noun. But anyway, I've got it registered in India, but I don't tell to people because it's a very nice sounding name. It's a very descriptive name of people who do these kind of things. In 2009, my rides continued. I went around India for the second time on a 1,000cc bike. This is a Yamaha R1 for people who know. In 2009, I also did Ireland. Then I actually got seriously into photography when I first held my photo exhibition in Delhi, my solo exhibition. I got a little bit of exposure as a photographer because I was trying to portray myself not only as a motorcyclist or as a hobby photographer, but as a serious photographer. So, people who are into photography, they also take me seriously. So I changed and I, further enhanced myself like this. In 2010, I again did New Zealand. And in 2010, I did another road trip which was around Italy. And Italy, as you know, is like home for fast bikes and everything flashy and artistic. And this was a very important road trip for me because I have formed a very important partnership, a personal partnership with Ducati, which is the Ferrari of motorcycles, and I do road trips and photography for them around the world. So this was the first for any Indian journalist or anyone in India to work at this level with such a company. In 2010, I came out with this print magazine, the xBhp print magazine. It's a national print magazine. We print it every couple of months. So we gave it another face, the whole thing, the whole movement of motorcycling in India, lifestyle movement. And my road trips continued, as you can see here. I had my second exhibition in 2011. And again, my road trips, I did US. I went around India for the third time on a superbike in 2012. So I think it's a very life-changing experience. If you go around India on a motorcycle, you see India in a different way, and you meet people, a lot of diversity, and you get to interact with a lot of people like that. In 2012, I did something which was very important, which changed my life. I was chosen by Ducati to ride from Dubai to Italy for a very important event. So I went on a motorcycle across 10 countries and 10,000 kilometers, which you see over here. This year was also important for me. In 2013, I did Australia, 24,000 kilometers in 45 days. And when you do all these kind of things, you have to change as an individual because you have to keep improvising yourself, because this trip was completely solo. I was relying on myself, and I always take the India flag with me. So, most of my shots, my self shots, are taken using a tripod. Just a month ago, I finished doing Spain and Morocco, which was, again, like when you do these kind of countries, you change as a person. You learn different cultures and what are they, you enrich yourself when you come back as an individual. Now, this is my final avatar right now, comprising of all the different avatars, I've been adorning since the last 12 years. So right now, I aim to inspire other people to do something different with their lives and try to believe that, to find what they love, rather than not just to do what they're being told to do by their parents or friends or the society. It's very important to, take risks. I'm not saying you drop out of college, but the thing is that you need to know what you need to do in life, because life is not that short, it's very long. And if you find what you love to do, then it's much easier and to go through life. And when you are at the end of your life, which we have to face, you will be a very you'll be a very calm person saying that, yes, I did what I wanted to do. I didn't, rely on other people's advice. I did what I wanted to do. So now the summary of this whole thing, my talk, is that you need to give way to new ideas, to uncertainty, and finally to change in your life. And you need to break away from what you're doing every day. You need to sit, relax, and speak it to yourself that what am I doing, is this right? Is this what you want to do, or not? And then to change. So I'll show you quickly, run you through a couple of my favorite pictures, which I've taken in the last 3-4 years. This one was in Australia. As you can see, a horse, and there's a similar colored motorcycle, a white motorcycle. This one was in India, and in a dam, Bhandardara in Maharashtra. And this one is taken at 10 p.m. At night on a lonely highway in Australia. You can see a lot of stars in the sky. This one was on a beach in Goa. And you can see that you can also create harmony between, animal, man, and machine together if you want, using pictures. So right now, today, I'm using photography to inspire change and to bring about, people to understand that you can do many more things with your life. And this was in US. This is a small scale figure. And I've used perspective distortion to make it look bigger. The bike behind is actually real life size. And I have a lot of things to show to you, but most of them are online. But nevertheless, thank you so much for your time. And I hope that I can inspire a lot of young people here to think about what they want from their lives. Thank you.